From Taylor Kinney probably not making a comeback to Brettsy possibly being the ultimate endgame, Chicago Fire has released some pretty crushing details on the Seviride comeback. Here's everything you need to know. I'm not going to lie, I've got some pretty sad news for you guys. With the Chicago Fire Season 11 finale being just around the corner, they've released details that aren't exactly comforting. All of you who are waiting oh so patiently for Kelly Severide's comeback are in for a big disappointment, as those rumors probably won't pan out anymore. News that Taylor Kinney was requesting an emergency personal leave of absence surfaced in the middle of the show's current run. Since then, viewers of the show have been itching for his return, but there has been no word on when it will go down. Even when he wasn't featured in the episodes, no formal explanation was given, but there's always been a glimmer of hope that he may show up soon. And since the finale was rolling around, it only made sense that the man would be back with a bang in a blaze of glory just when we least expected it, giving the finale a whole new level of amazing at the same time. But sadly, it seems like that's not how it's going to be this time around. From what things are really looking like with the Chicago Fire Season 11 finale, it's pretty unlikely that Seviride will make it back in time. And I've got the receipts to prove my theory. The official TV Line summary for the episode says, in red waterfall, Brett waits for some pretty life-changing news. Herman speaks with a psychic who issues a dire warning. And Kid discovers a fresh lead in the Homeland Security investigation. So yeah, if you're still hoping for Taylor to make a surprise feature, I'd probably not hold my breath. Either way, it's no cause for alarm, since the purpose of Kinney's absence is only temporary. But then again, Severide's permanent exit is strongly hinted at in Chicago Fire Season 11. It was revealed that he was sent to a last-minute, once-in-a-lifetime OFI training camp in the episode Damage Control. And even Stella Kidd was surprised at how quickly he seized the chance to holler out of there. Especially given that they were a young married couple. I mean, shouldn't you be prioritizing some quality time with your wife, sir? But it seems they don't exactly want to draw attention to the entire situation just yet. Kinney's whole narrative at Chicago Fire hasn't exactly received much attention lately, so it's possible that they're simply mulling over the details right now. But the possibility that his absence may result in his formal departure from the show is still there. Until they release a formal statement clearing it up, that is. And if that's the case, Chicago Fire will still bring him back at least one last time. Even if we put his duties as a Firehouse 51 employee aside, he just married Kid. We just got to see the two walk down the aisle and become one. It would be a huge blow to viewers and Stella if he just up and left her, especially after everything they've been through. Even though it's not exactly unheard of in the show, right? But still, NBC and Wolf Entertainment will need to make some pretty significant adjustments to the first responder procedural if Seviride decides not to return to Chicago Fire. And losing him is probably going to have some pretty serious blowback on both Chicago Fire and One Chicago. Now, Kelly might not be coming back for the finale, but someone else is. With time, a little too many beloved firefighters on Chicago Fire have left the show throughout the years, some due to personal problems and other opportunities. In all honesty, the only remaining core member is Stella Kidd, and the fans are not exactly thrilled with the constant goodbyes. Right now, the two people who are missed the most are without a doubt Kelly Seviride and Matt Casey. Since they left, the crowd has been dying for their return. Now, we already know that Kelly's comeback is a tad out of the question at this point, but Matt Casey might just feature on set once more. Yep, it seems our favorite boy will be making a surprise appearance in the Season 11 finale. Spencer was a full-time cast member back in 2021. That means Matt has been mainly missing for 1.5 years. In the story, his character gets relocated to Oregon to look after his friend's children, and he's first introduced to us again in episode 18, when Captain briefly returned to Chicago. But from the looks of it, we can safely assume that Matt will appear again in the season finale, maybe with some insights concerning the Homeland Security case, given that the synopsis of Season 11's last episode references Stella discovering something strange about the whole thing. But even when Spencer parted ways with the show, he stated that he would be happy to pop in whenever the narrative allowed it, but he didn't want to be back as a regular. Not to get your hopes up or anything, But Casey's comeback is very likely, and it would just give the finale the spruce it needs. We'll hopefully get to see Seviride another time. And you know what? The narrative does favor a Matt Casey comeback. The confrontation between Sylvie Brett and Chief Bowden in Chicago Fire Season 11 actually works pretty well for the story right now. Firehouse 51 addressed numerous personal and professional challenges in Take a Shot at the King, Episode 19 of Season 11 of Chicago Fire. That means Sylvie must regain her strength following Casey's unanticipated Chicago visit, while also putting on a magic show for her current bae, Dylan. But that's not exactly the end of her troubles. In Chicago Fire Season 11, Brett's tale is centered on her personal life rather than her paramedicine situation. We watched as she struggled to enter the dating scene again after her sudden and pretty one-sided breakup with Casey. And while things with Dylan haven't been exactly breezy, the two appear to be doing pretty well. Until, of course, the unexpected return of the one who got away in danger all around. Now, it seems her trouble had become a little work-centric and is about to take a romantic turn again with Jesse's return. They've pretty much left their love story up in the air, and honestly, one Chicago appears to be having a hard time calling it quits on their relationship. It became quite clear that they were still in love when Casey made his return in Season 11 of Chicago Fire. And if you think about it, there's no question that they would be together if it weren't for their current separate zip codes. So Brett could simply go to Oregon and be with Casey if she follows through on her plan to leave Firehouse 51. Only the finale can clear things up. When they were together for the last time in Season 11 of Chicago Fire, neither Casey nor Brett made any overt attempts to rekindle their romance. Even so, it was so obvious that our boy was open to a reconciliation, her confession that she's dating someone new stopped him dead in his tracks. But the upcoming finale, where Casey is scheduled to once again make an appearance, will give these two another chance to fully mend their friendship, if that's what they want, that is. But apart from the potential star-studded comebacks, what can we expect from the season finale? The narrative they're building as Chicago Fire's 11th season comes to a close is pointing towards one peculiar little direction, and the suspense for the procedural is at an all-time high. The next episode, Never Ever Make a Mistake, will have a narrative that might be bidding goodbye to another character. This time, it might be Kara Kilmer's Sylvie Brett. It appears that the paramedics of a previous shift at 51 forgot to refill the ambulance, which resulted in some major complications for Brett and Violet. Now, we shouldn't exactly leap to any conclusions, but this could very well be a clue that she might begin to seek a career outside of Firehouse 51, since Sylvie wanted charges filed so much that he threatened to fire her. And perhaps that would lead her to moving somewhere west? You guys should know, though, that the episode will definitely take some turns that we can't exactly predict from the teaser, because the released footage first makes you think that she's threatening to leave Bowden, but in reality, it appears that she is talking to a woman with brown hair. There's only one way to find out what's what. At the same time, the NBC show description simply mentions that a terrifying call has an impact on Brett. Yeah, that doesn't exactly give us too much to speculate on, right? Everyone at Firehouse 51 frequently answers absolutely gut-wrenchingly terrifying phone calls, so it could really just be anything. But it would be safe to assume that Chicago Fire is simply raising the stakes about Sylvie's future in anticipation of the series finale. While I'd hate to see Kara Kilmer's Brett leave, all signs seem to be pointing in that particular direction, but at least that means we'll get to see Brettsy having a future in Portland. It'll all become clear when Chicago Fire wraps up Season 11 without Seviride. Stay tuned. So, from Brettsy potentially rekindling their romance to Taylor not returning for the season finale, that was everything on Chicago Fire's latest news on the Seviride comeback.